First-time poster. I've only had 3 girlfriends in my life, and all have now cheated on me. I've been together with my current girlfriend for 5 years. Now she's 2 years younger than me at 24. We met in 2018 through mutual friends and became extremely close, extremely fast. She started living in my house. And by my house, I mean the bedroom in my parents' house, shortly under a year of dating. Everything seemed so perfect. She was studying and I was working, and we spent massive amounts of time together. We never fought or had any serious problems. It felt like a fairy tale. Fast forward 3 years to 2021, and she's ready to start her 2nd degree. I've been head over heels for 3 years. There's no way I'm letting her go. So I followed her to another city, 3 hours away from our hometown, where she could finish school. This was awesome because we could finally have our own space and our relationship could grow. This is where things take a twist. So, while attending university, she meets a new guy friend, of course. Let's say his name is Moose. At first, Moose seems like no trouble at all. He's friendly, nice guy. Doesn't seem like the type to do anything. But we all know a man's intentions, and I jokingly told her that from the beginning, but never had any real thought that she would do something like that to me. She's always been heavily against cheating and anything to do with it. Weeks turned to months, and I started noticing small things. I work till 7 p.m. most nights, so she gets home before me 90% of the time. But the odd occasion I'd beat her home, I'd notice she was getting a ride home from Moose, and they would talk in the vehicle for what seemed like hours, probably 20, 30 bainmin in reality. Nothing too suspicious, I thought. I brought it up to her, and she told me he drives her home from time to time. Fair enough. Let it be known we live 5 minutes from her school. A few more weeks go by, and suddenly, she's asking me to hang out with him frequently, i.e., go over to his house, ride his motorcycle, go for a walk, blah, blah, blah. This is eventually what kind of fires up the pilot light of my jealousy. I start to think maybe there's something more here, or at least he's trying to make it more. I start to voice my concerns. I'm not the best. I get very quiet and resentful when I'm upset. But I eventually let her know I'm feeling some type of way about her new friendship with Moose. She assures me he's just a friend. He's a nice Muslim guy who wouldn't do anything like that, and that I need to trust her. I thought she was right, and I was being crazy. She's never shown any sign or red flag about being disloyal before, so I tried to move on. I don't want to be the possessive boyfriend and stop her from having friends. So once again, I ate my emotions and tried to move forward. Here we are 1.5 years now, with things only getting worse. She started to hide the fact that she was talking, hanging out, getting rides, because I would always initiate an argument about it. I started to get extremely paranoid about what they were doing while hanging out, and frankly, why she wanted to see him so often. So, one night, we got into an argument, and she told me that over the past year of living here, she's felt like I've been emotionally unavailable and can't talk to me. She's been struggling with body dysmorphia and extreme anxiety, so Moose has been her vent. He has been her shoulder to cry on for almost a year. I'm lost at this moment. I've been so focused on what she's doing with Moose. I completely looked over the fact that I could be the reason she wants to see him. This hit me hard, and we had a huge discussion and aired everything out. She once again assured me she has never done anything with him, and he's not like that. I asked her to let me know every time they're hanging out, or that he would drive her home. So, for the past 2 to 3 weeks, things have been smooth. I was trying to be better and supportive, putting her first. I made sure I attended to her needs and knew that I'm here for her for anything. Once again, the paranoia sets in, and I have all kinds of thoughts running through my head while I'm at work. I decided to text her, but get no reply for a few hours, which isn't unusual as she's normally studying. Then, a short spurt of messages. I reply immediately, and then again a few hours go by. No reply. I start to really get into my own head here. I text her and ask if she's sleeping, and she finally replies, and yes, she fell asleep. At this point I'm not buying it, so I decide to call her. She answered and spoke fine. Nothing out of the ordinary, so it seemed. But I couldn't get through the day wondering what she was doing here. So I made an excuse to leave work early, and sure enough, I get home and see his car parked in our apartment lot. Furious, I walk in to find him standing in our foyer, and my girlfriend crying in the bathroom. I spoke with him briefly outside, and he told me it's nothing, and that this situation isn't what it seems. I believed his dumbass. I went back inside to speak with her and get to the bottom of what was really happening. She's crying and can barely get the words out, but tells me that he made a move on her. Pants, and fingered here for what she said was mere seconds before she pushed him off. Which I don't really buy considering the guy was here for hours. She starts acting apologetic. She really seems remorseful and feels terrible, saying she's deleting him of everything, blocking him, and cutting off all communication. At the end of the day, she still sees him at school every day and will continue to for the next 2 years. So, who's to say this will never happen again? Now here we are, 5 years into a relationship, and I'm not sure I want to continue. I feel so betrayed and heartbroken. Now I know she didn't have sex with him or go any further than what happened. But what she did was cheating and unacceptable, especially after months of telling how I feel and how I don't like the situation going on with her and Moose. I poured my heart out, and she told me I was being crazy and that she's allowed to have friends. She made me feel like I was a bad boyfriend for being so nosy. It's so hard to do. I love her with everything I am. I gave her everything, and she let me down in the worst way. It's so hard to let her get away with this. I want her to hurt like I do. I want her to know she's ruined and stepped on something that meant so much to me. That was our love. I appreciate anyone who reads this. I know it's a long story that means nothing to anyone but me, but I really needed to voice myself somewhere. Long story short, I moved cities for my 5-year GF. She made a new guy friend, and I kept warning her about getting to close with him. After 1.5 years, he finally pulled a move and got his hands down my girl's pants. I'm furious, but love her so much, and that's such a cross between leaving and staying. Update. Thanks you all so much. I never thought so many people would see this and reply. I was so distressed at the time of writing this. I appreciate all of you who have taken your time to share your opinions and thoughts. It really means pants. I'm furious, but love her so much, and that's such a cross between leaving and staying. Update. Thanks you all so much. I never thought so many people would see this and reply. I was so distressed at the time of writing this. I appreciate all of you who have taken your time to share your opinions and thoughts. It really means a lot. After clearing my head and reading all of your comments, I realized there were a few details I've left out about our lives. I've started a new career here, and I'm already signed up and paid for school in January, second-month program. We've also signed a 4-year lease agreement on our apartment, until she finishes school. We spoke more about what had happened. She spoke with what felt like complete honesty. She told me that they spoke the day before the incident, about how they both had mutual feelings building and didn't know what to do. He was clearly trying to get her to choose him. She told me he ended up leaving. I assume when he couldn't, to get a straight answer. The next day, the day of the incident, he Snapchatted her, asking to come over to talk around 2 p.m. She thought it was referring to their convo the day prior. He came over and they sat on the couch. He put his arm around her and started touching her, eventually making his way down her pants. It was mutual and not SA. Apparently, once he got down there, she realized what she had done and told him to stop. She started crying and he told her, "It's okay, we barely did anything." She says she yelled at him at this point, saying it was a big deal. When I called her from work, 4:17 p.m., it had already happened. She acted so calm over the phone though, like nothing. But I could tell, my gut knew something was wrong. Apparently, she was upset and trying to keep it together. I asked what she was doing the moments before I walked in. She told me she went to the washroom to blow her nose, and Moose said he was leaving. From what? She acted so calm over the phone though, like nothing. But I could tell, my gut knew something was wrong. Apparently, she was upset and trying to keep it together. I asked what she was doing the moments before I walked in. She told me she went to the washroom to blow her nose, and Moose said he was leaving. From what? I saw when I walked in. It added up. She poured out her sorries and cried, telling me she's going to grow and learn from the situation. She wants a chance to show me she can be better. This is the worst thing she has ever done in her life, and regrets it more than anything. I asked her what her plans were when she went back to school to see him for the next 2 years. He is already blocked on everything, and she understands that he took advantage of her in an extremely vulnerable time. She will avoid him at all costs. It all just seems too good to be true in my mind. I ended up just turning the TV on and watching with her, separate couches. Bedtime came around, and she decided she would sleep on the couch instead of me, rightfully. I don't feel comfortable sleeping with her. I'm a weak man, and I need to force this space and let myself figure this out. I'm not sure what is going to happen from here, but only time will tell. I have a day off tomorrow, Sunday, and then work until Friday. Then start what was supposed to be a nice Christmas vacation with our families. But that's now out the window. I'm thinking separation until the New Year's to clear my head and think of a rash decision. Love is not a solid reason for tolerating emotional abuse. She has abused you for a long time and even went so far to blame her inappropriate behavior on you. The unmet needs test has been discredited and is no longer used by relationship therapists. It failed because it basically provides a free pass to a cheater versus taking responsibility for themselves and constructively fixing issues. Her behavior in a relationship is selfish, entitled, deceitful, and shows zero empathy for you. People break up for loss of trust as often as infidelity. Only she, not you, can rebuild trust. Time alone doesn't do it. and she can't say untrust me. Be advised it can take 2 years for a human being to fully understand the long-term permanent damage to trust. Blind trust never returns. Only you can decide whether you can be happy not fully trusting her. My guy, first of all you need a hug. Let me tell her something. Somewhat same thing happened with me. We dated for 5 years and she was never disloyal to me. But one day, she did the disaster. Now she's dating the guy she cheated with, and life hasn't been same since. I know you love her with everything, but it's time to move on. You are only seeing the happy memories. With her, don't overlook the past. Don't fall for her tears or apologies. If she really was apologetic and wanted your relationship to survive, then she would have cut him off. Go to gym, hang out with boys, drink, smoke, do whatever you want, but just don't talk to her. It will always ruin your mental peace. She will always remind you of cheating. You deserve better.